Today we're going to be taking a look at the legendary GTX Titan and see if it holds up in 2026. This card was pure insanity back then, and when I first got into PC building, it was the only GPU that I was dreaming of. Just the name sounded so cool for a graphics card. And at the time I was still too young to realize that this was more than just a graphics card. It was also NVIDIA testing whether gamers were willing to pay 4 figures for a GPU. And yeah, to nobody's surprise, the GTX Titan pretty much was sold out everywhere, especially on launch. And that led to the GTX Titan not just being a successful graphics card, but it also proved that enthusiasts were willing to pay almost anything for the fastest hardware in the world. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the specs of our current test bench and then get straight into testing in some benchmarks. For the test bench, we're using this awesome little Minisforum PC. The CPU that comes with this is the Ryzen 9 7945HX, which features 16 cores, 32 threads, and is running on the Zen 4 architecture. It features a base clock of 2.5 GHz and boosts all the way up to a blistering 5.4 GHz. It also has 64 MB of L3 cache. So there will definitely be no CPU bottleneck for this older graphics card. And we have the same case for the memory. We have two 48 gig sticks of DDR5 memory running at 5600 megatransfers. So plenty of RAM for this test bench. And now for the GPU. We have the GTX Titan, which released in 2013. Let's just take a moment to really appreciate the looks of this GTX Titan. I mean, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. And the Titan lettering on this just made it look like such a beast. Now the GTX Titan had an insane spec sheet for the time. Coming in at an MSRP of $999, it had 2,688 CUDA cores, 6 gigs of GDDR5 memory, and was running on the Kepler architecture. It had a base clock of 837 MHz and a boost of 876. It also featured an insane 250 watt TDP. And back then your average gamer had a GPU with 1 to 2 gigs, maybe at the most 4, and there was the AMD HD 7990, which was 2 GPUs in one. So that doesn't really count for the first 6 gig GPU. That was designed for gaming, of course. So let's go ahead and take a look at this absolutely legendary, historic GPU in 2026 and see just how well it performs in some modern games, and if it's worth picking up. For the first benchmark, we have Cyberpunk 2077 running on the low preset at 1920 by 1080. And as you can see, we're not getting anywhere near a playable frame rate, hovering around the high 20s, even within this crowded area. It does get a little bit better once we get outside and in less populated areas. Now in actual gameplay, you're going to see more like 25 to 30 FPS, so totally not a playable experience, unfortunately. However, we did finish this benchmark off with a 33 FPS average. Next up, we have Arc Raiders running at 1920 by 1080 on the medium preset. And I'm very happy to report back that this runs pretty dang good. Considering it's a nearly 13-year-old GPU, here we are playing a game that came out in 2025 on a medium preset, and we're still getting above 30 FPS. My biggest gripe, which I'll get into a little bit later, is just the lack of driver support. Half of the games that I wanted to test, I could not get the game to even launch or run properly. But thankfully, games like Arc Raiders and a couple more that you'll see here shortly were able to run even in 2026, which is still so astonishing. So if you're wanting to play Arc Raiders and you got the GTX Titan and you're okay with a 30 FPS experience, then you totally can use this graphics card. And here we have the latest LEGO Batman, running at the medium preset at 1920 by 1080. And if you didn't notice it in the last two games, that's fine, but I want to point your attention to the top middle of the screen, where we're getting nearly 200 watts, which is just one of the biggest downfalls of this graphics card. You're gonna definitely want to have cheap electricity if you're using this GPU constantly. Now for LEGO Batman, we got an average of 39 FPS, which is a totally playable experience if you're wanting to play LEGO Batman with the GTX Titan. And with every title tested and shown today, you'll see that there's very minimal stuttering, which is great in a game like LEGO Batman where you're constantly fighting and there's a lot going on the screen. And this title is just another example alongside Arc Raiders that shows that this GPU is still totally capable in 2026. Just a lot of games do not support it. Now for some eSport titles, we have Fortnite running at 1920 by 1080 on the performance mode. Don't mind the gameplay in the background where I just almost killed myself, but Fortnite is totally playable on this graphics card and actually runs amazing. As you can see, we're getting well above 300 FPS most of the time. However, I wouldn't recommend this GPU, again, just for its insane power usage and the heat output of it. But for some reason, if this is the only GPU you've got lying around and all you want to do is play some Fortnite, this graphics card will do more than play Fortnite. It will crush Fortnite. For the other eSport title, we have Counter-Strike 2 running at 1280 by 960 in 4x3 on the lowest preset. And just like Fortnite, we were seeing a super high frame rate, well above 200 FPS most of the time. Now we are running Nuke, which is a little bit harder of a map to run compared to most, so you'll see much higher frames in other maps like Dust 2 and Mirage. I kind of have the same opinion about Counter-Strike that I do to Fortnite. If this is all you've got lying around and you want to play Counter-Strike, you can definitely do that. You're just going to have to deal with the much higher wattage. Now for some slightly older AAA titles, we have Days Gone running at the high preset, and this game looks super pretty. Here we are just driving through the forest a little bit, and we're getting a very playable 30 plus FPS experience on this. And I would definitely take this over the PlayStation 4 version, which has a little bit lower graphic fidelity and is only around 30 FPS. And this game just looks so good, and the fact that we're running it on a 13-year-old GPU is just still so wild to me. Now for this game specifically, I'd imagine a little bit lower frame rate when you have all these zombies on the screen like you do in Days Gone. So do keep that in mind if you are wanting to play this game with this GPU. Next up, we've got Battlefront 2 running on the high preset at 1920 by 1080. And this again is a totally playable experience at over 60 FPS. This has got to be the prettiest FPS ever created, and the fact that we're playing on a first gen GTX Titan just goes to show how well optimized this game is. And yeah, it's definitely not a brand new game, but it still looks better than most games coming out even in 2026. Now, unfortunately for GTA 5, I could not get the enhanced edition to run whatsoever, so we're stuck with the Legacy Edition, which of course is going to run great on this graphics card, and we have these settings set at the maximum at 1920 by 1080, and we're getting a very smooth and pleasant, well above 90 FPS experience. Now when there are a lot of explosions and things going on, we were sitting still well above 60 FPS. And for me, this is one of my favorite games to test on this graphics card, because I remember back in 2015, when this first came out on PC, I was just watching video after video of people showing just how good this game looked with graphics cards like the GTX Titan. And all I could think about was, dang, someday I can't wait to have my own GTX Titan. And here I am, owning a GTX Titan for only $60, and I'm getting to relive that experience from my childhood. Now unfortunately I could not get this graphics card to run on Forza Horizon 6. No matter what I tried, it would just fail and fail, so we're going to have to settle with BeamNG, which we had at the high preset at 1920 by 1080. And at this preset, this game looks super good and runs surprisingly well. And this is also running at above 30 FPS, which really shocked me honestly, considering the high preset and just how good this game looks with all its reflections and textures. I was expecting more, just barely around 30 FPS. But it surprised me, and we're sitting pretty at an average of 43 FPS. So if you're wanting to play BeamNG with this graphics card, you totally can in 2026. Now that wraps up the benchmarks, and in conclusion, this GPU is awesome, and it was totally awesome to benchmark in 2026 and see just how well it's holding up. Now if this is the only graphics card I had, I definitely would not be complaining. It can play pretty much every game I want it to. The only downside again is the extremely high TDP and the fact that it doesn't launch a lot of modern games, unfortunately. And I'm so happy to get to test this graphics card and being able to show it off to you guys, and the fact that I only picked it up for 60 bucks is just still so crazy to me. I'll never forget back then just thinking about how I wanted the GTX Titan so bad, even though I only had a 720p monitor. So yeah, this GPU was super fun to test, and it definitely still holds up on the games that does support it in 2026, but unfortunately a lot do not. So do keep that in mind if you're going to be looking at picking up one of these for yourself. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to check out the video in the middle of your screen if you like these kind of videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.